Alright, so everyone has gone on a JJS casual duo match. But the problem is that we usually get stuck on choosing our binding vows. So in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to find the best binding vow in all of JJS. There are a total of 6 binding vows in JJS's casual duos. So let's go ahead and start off with our first one. Never Again is going to be our first binding vow that we are talking about. Never Again has a damage benefit that actually gives you 1.35 times more damage, which means rather than your normal 100% of damage that you deal, you can do 135% of the damage that you deal, which is quite good until you actually hear the problem with this binding vow. The problem with Never Again is that if you use your move 2 times, it fully goes away from your roster. The moment you use this move 2 times, it fully disappears from the whole moveset, and the only way you can get it back is if you die. The problem with that is that in duels you have lives, and if you use up all your moves, the only way of getting them back is if you respawn, and that will waste like a lot of potential that you could be doing even if you had the normal 100% damage. So if you have Never Again in one of the 3 binding vows that duels gives you, do not use it. It is not worth it at all. Our next binding vow is going to be True Love. True Love lets you do the same thing as Enchain, which it lets you get 30% more ultimate compared to normal. The difference from Enchain is that you can still use your normal ultimate, but the moment your ultimate bar fills up, it automatically uses your awakening no matter what. And after your awakening ends, you also die. The next binding vow we have is Taking a Gamble. Taking a Gamble is similar to Never Again because it actually gives you another damage buff, which is 125% damage. The problem with Taking a Gamble is that one move from your moveset gets fully removed from the start of the game. Our next binding vow is Enchain. Enchain lets you get 30% more awakening, but the only problem is that you're not allowed to use any moves or harm the other opponent for the first 12 seconds of the awakening. When I say 30% more awakening, I mean that normally while punching, I'm getting this much awakening, but I would get 30+% of what I would be getting normally. So you can get your awakening fast. Enchain also only lets you use Yuji's ultimate, so you can only use the Sukuna ultimate no matter what character you're using. The next one we have is Overtime. Every one of your stocks except your last life, you can only do 0.9% damage. For most of the match, you're not going to be able to do as much damage as you normally can. But on your last stock, you actually do 1.25 times the amount of your normal damage, which means that you can do 125% damage compared to your normal 100%. So even though there's quite a good buff with not that many setbacks, the problem is that you could be doing way better with a no binding vow, because with no binding vow, you could still do 100% damage, and if you survive all 3 of your lives, Overtime wouldn't be necessary. So it's better to use your no binding vow compared to Overtime. And maybe sometimes if you died in some of your stocks, you could have actually done better if you had your full 100% damage. Our final binding vow, which is going to be the best binding vow in all of JJS, is Revealing One's Hand. This binding vow actually is super overpowered. If you ever have this binding vow on your roster, you 100% have to use it because it gives 110% health compared to the normal 100%, and the only setback is that the opponent can see your moves, ragdoll cancel, and ultimate bar status. So you basically just get extra health for no setback, which is so worth it. Alright, and that is how to find the best binding vow in JJS. If you guys like this, please go ahead and drop a comment if you also had any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.